Welcome to News 9 Live, and you are watching On Point with me. And in today's On Point, we will discuss the big revelation coming from Manipur. Kuldiep Singh, Manipur government security advisor, made a startling revelation. He said that Manipur faces terror threat from 900 infiltrators that are planning to sneak inside the state. He said that these militants are divided into units of 30 and input has been shared with all security agencies. He said that combing operations have commenced. The areas are Churachandpur, Tamenglong, Kamjong, Ukhrul and Phirzawl. They are under high alert. Manipur Police and Assam Rifles and other border guarding units have been alerted. So before I introduce my guest, let me tell you that this entire show has been divided into 6 to 8 bites, which we'll be producing in front of you one by one. On every bite, the revelation made by Kuldiep Singh, we have security experts, people who have served their life in security forces on ground, manning men and women involved in protecting India. But first, let me play out the bite.
Being shared with different intelligence agencies also, because they have to develop it, because once 900 people are coming in a group of 30 each or less than 30 or more than 30, they will definitely go somewhere, halt somewhere, they will need food and shelter. So all these kind of inputs from various agencies, various intelligence agencies will have to be gathered, and wherever we find that this kind of people are roaming around, that area has to be cordoned off, combing operations have to be done, and then immediately we go ahead with that. Now for this, the police department has also alerted their border police, their all checkposts, the Assam Rifle, who is a border guarding force, they have been alerted sufficiently. The districts of Churachandpur, Tamenglong, Kamjong, Ukhrul and Phirzawl are put on high alert on this. And also whenever they are doing any combing operation, generally we do combing operation for the search and seizure of arms and ammunition. But now we are also have briefed all the forces, we are also looking for the raw materials by which the rockets, missiles, drones, etc. are prepared. Maybe the part of the battery, part of the drone, maybe the explosive, maybe the bomb itself, maybe the pipe itself by which the rocket is being manufactured, explosives, and transportation system, the fins they attach with the rocket. All these kind of things have to be checked while doing the combing operations. The explosives are generally not available, but explosives are given to various agencies officially, and the pilferage as well as the explosives which are stolen, that is a part which adds to the ammunition and ammo of the militants. So for that we have also alerted all the district magistrates in whose areas the explosive license holders are there, and other agencies like the road construction, like the railway tunneling areas and other areas wherever explosives are being used, that stock and other things must be checked and seen whether any kind of pilferage problem or there are any dispute in the stock maintenance. Then the all connected roads and villages in the 5-kilometer radius towards the hillside as well as a sizable depth inside the valley side are also being checked. Because if you have to carry this kind of a rocket or if you have to have this kind of a drone dropping system, then in the drone you may not need vehicle, but in a rocket and carrying pipe and all, you will need a vehicle, because the vehicle, the size of the rocket is not less than approximately 9 to 10 feet, weighing around 24-25 kgs, and the diameter of the pipe is also quite sizable. So its weight is approximately 30 kgs. So you can't carry, you can carry one rocket, maybe a kilometer or two, but if you have to carry for a long distance, then there has to be a vehicle needed. So at least a medium kind of a vehicle needed. Then in those areas, whatever villages are there, then village heads, CSOs need to be contacted. Binoculars are being given to the force so that they can see from far and engage them. So these efforts are being done. Unless until it is proved wrong, we believe that it is 100% correct. Because any intelligence input, you have to take 100% correct and prepare for that. If doesn't come true, then there are two things. Either it didn't happen at all, or because of your efforts it didn't happen. Because you can't take lightly that ये तो ऐसे ही होगा. अगर ऐसे ही करोगे कहीं गड़बड़ हो जाएगा.
Okay. So he's taking every intelligence input very seriously, and the clarification comes from the man who is actually at the helms of affair. I'm joined by my four esteemed guests: B.L. Vora, former Home Secretary, former DGP Manipur; Mr. P.K. Mishra, former IGBSF; Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni; Mr. Sanjeev Sood, Security Analyst, former ADG BSF, and with me in the studio, Brijesh Pandey, my input editor. But first to you, Brijesh, a very significant sort of a statement by Kuldiep Singh.
Well, a very significant and a very scary one as well, because if you have 900 people waiting, 900 potential terrorists waiting to sneak into Manipur, which is already under a lot of turmoil in the last month or so, I've been going under for last 16 months. It clearly shows that whosoever is planning the unrest, whatever is happening inside the Manipur, is go for a mega push. And that mega push, given the fact that already you have drones being used to drop explosives, rocket being used to target valley. I think this is the next big push which is happening, and I agree with Mr. Kuldiep Singh when he says that that you have to take all the inputs very seriously, because for terrorists they can fail 99 times. All they have to do is to succeed once.
Absolutely,
and that is what makes the difference.
Absolutely, Mr. Mishra. How do you see this information being given out by Kuldiep Singh?
Yes, Karthikeya, I can well tell you that what Mr. Kuldiep Singh has stated, definitely he has stated after getting intelligence input. I am telling you, in such type of operational scenario, when things are pretty bad in Manipur, or that may be in anywhere in India, if you get any intelligence, whether it has even it is 1% correct, you cannot leave it. You have to take it very seriously. And not only that, he has told that if they are in numbers with 900, coming in a group of 30, and maybe penetrating with automatic weapons from any point. It is not only Churachandpur, not only Ukhrul, not only Kamjong or Tamenglong, from any place they can come inside. And with one more thing I'll add, you see, in Nambil at Tignopal, already opposite side there was a fight between PDF and UNLF cadre, and because of that, about 40 or 45 UNLF cadres, they have come inside, and they surrendered to Assam Rifles at Nambil in Tignopal district with automatic weapons. And what Mr. Kuldiep Singh has stated, definitely there is some input, and I'm telling you, if they come, there will be a lot of problem in Manipur. Again, Manipur will burn and violence will again start it. Okay. And definitely, he has told that counter-insurgency operations has already started, and all the security branches, particularly Assam Rifles, Border Guarding Forces, BSF, CRPF, Manipur Police, all have been warned to be very careful and go for counter-insurgency operations in most of the districts where the information input has come.
Let me take quick reactions to all my guests, because there are 5 more important bites. There are 5 more important things which he has said. Mr. Vora, your comments on this intelligence that 900 armed men in the group of 30s?
It's a very dangerous situation. But I'm surprised that the security advisor decided to go public on this issue. Honestly, if you ask me, if I were in his place, I wouldn't do that, because it's, raising the scare of the people. But that apart, it seems that some forces now are trying to instigate India into a war-like situation. Now they are coming from Myanmar. Obviously, that is the next. That's the border. That's the border with India that we have on the Manipur side. Now, this, of course, is a very serious situation. Action needs to be taken. I think all Indian forces, including Army, I'll say even Air Force, they should be deployed, but deployed with the direction outside, because these Army and Air Force and all are not meant for our own people, not taking action against our own people, but against those who are planning to come in. I think the situation has been allowed to go from bad to worse today. Since last May, we haven't taken any action. Government of India is leaping. I'm sorry to say that. The same political output is continuing. I think it's time for very, very drastic measures to be taken in the state. There should be President's rule number 1 straight away. Officers should be posted from outside, because most of the local officers, they have their local loyalties. And officers of proven capability, they should be taken. There are many who have served there earlier. They should be consulted and drafted if necessary. There's so much to do. I think entire India's might must be deployed. I think this is the time. When will you do it? And whether it's diplomatically, whether it's politically, whether it is forces-wise, I think all forces must be put together. And I think a senior union minister should be posted there. He must look after. Yeah, you wanted to say something, Karthik.
Yes, Mr. Vora, you said local loyalties. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, we all know, Metis have been supporting the Metis who have been fighting, and Kuki officers have been supporting the Kukis. In fact, when more than 4,000 weapons, imagine 4,500 weapons looted, there were reports that many of these weapons were handed over by the officers of the same clan to their own clan people. It's so well known. And imagine automatic weapons were given. But what Kuldeep said was more dangerous. These guys who are coming in, the weapons that they are having, and now the drones and the rockets that they are having, these they did not snatch from the Manipur police. Imagine 4,000 weapons plus all this, and somebody is financing it. And let me tell you who's financing it. These are the drug lords who are financing it. Manipur is at the tip of the Golden Triangle. Now, when Myanmar started coming in, Chin people started coming in, and they are kith and kin of the Kukis, because there was pressure in Burma by the military regime. They started doing poppy cultivation here. Once the Manipur government came to know of it, they tried to identify them. This raised the hackles. And they wanted a trigger, which was given in the form of a High Court order, which was misrepresented about giving ST status to the Metis. And you know what happened after that. And then the conflict. And they were wanting an excuse. And we did not nip in the bud at all. Come on, can we have a situation like this where people in India are using drones? They're using rockets. It's not a war, a Gaza war.
Correct.
It's not a war
absolutely.
Hamas and Israel.
It should have actually, you are absolutely right, sir. It should have outraged the entire establishment like a heavy hand, like the fist of Thor, I would say. Absolutely. Let me take quick reactions from.
I think we are being punished. We are being punished for taking it lightly. And we should be ashamed of ourselves if we don't take any further action immediately. Okay. I'm sorry, but these are my very strong views.
These are the words coming straight from your heart. Let me go across to Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni and then to Sanjeev Sood, former ADG. First to General Kulkarni. Sir, your thoughts?
Karthikeya, there's no doubt that this has been happening for a long, long time now. The Chief Minister himself had said some months back that over 5,000 people were the word that he used were illegal immigrants in Kamjong. So this kind of a thing, a 1600-kilometer long, 1643 to be precise, kilometer long border, which is unfenced, like very few, but not even 10 kilometers is fenced. All this has been going on. The insurgent groups on the Manipur soil are in league with the insurgent group. We know the kind of pressure which is on in Myanmar, almost a civil war situation. The Myanmar army doesn't even control anything beyond their own capital. Everything else has gone into the hands of the insurgents, all supported by the Chinese and the three brother groups over there. So everything is all known. I'm glad Mr. Kuldeep has said so very categorically that 900 of them are to be infiltrated. Even the kind of weapons that have been caught are much more, and in fact some of those automatics were not even part of the ones which were looted. So that's all indicative that it's time now that we acted, and it's time that we took everything seriously. Obviously, the inputs are always taken seriously, irrespective of the results. It's not necessary that what has been told back just happened. It's okay because you have moved, it will not happen. But this is there, and now also, if you're not to be taken seriously, I go along with Mr. Vora. He's absolutely right. This is the time. Rather, it was long back, but notwithstanding, now is the time, and irrespective of whatever it is, whoever loyalties are, we now is the time to act, and act very, very firm, with a very firm hand, irrespective of who is to be affected and what are the results going to be. Doesn't really matter who comes in between, because now it is a question of not letting any part of it go. In the Chinese in Myanmar army not in control of it, civil war situation there, a similar kind of situation almost existing. The two groups are warheads. Warring groups, I would say. They are no longer, it doesn't even appear that they were ever staying together. It looks as if they've been brought in and they're just fighting over there for land over there, which actually belongs to all of them. They are Manipuris. We have to see them as Manipuris and not people from the plains and people from the hills. No, they are Manipuris, and all of them must stay together. Should they not be wanting to stay, we have to hold their heads, put them on the table, and make sure that they all stay and live together like they were living all these years.
Okay, Mr. Sood, 900 men said by the security advisor, and subsequent there are a lot of bites which I'll play out, but I wanted reaction of all of you on board for someone who is looking into the state to say in a public conversation that there are 900 men broken into 30 and certain areas have been put on high alert. Mr. Sood.
I totally echo the words of Mr. Vora. If there is an intelligence about 900 people attempting to cross over to India, it must be taken seriously, but it must also be verified. And I am in agreement that if this information is available with them, it probably shouldn't have been made public at this particular stage. The police and other organizations should have worked on it, should have confirmed the information, and simultaneously deployed the forces. It tantamounts to creating a sort of panic in the society, or maybe to sort of spread a particular narrative in the society. So I'm in total agreement with that. But we must act on the information. We must verify information. And the point is that if they are trying to come from across the border, how do we secure the borders? How do we keep surveillance over the borders? In one of the previous programs, I had said, Assam Rifles does not have the adequate strength to man the entire 400 kilometers, 398 kilometers of the borders of Manipur, and the terrain configuration, the remoteness of the area also prevents them from establishing permanent border outposts in those areas in order to keep surveillance over those borders. So while information made available by Mr. Kuldeep is alarming, it is necessary to confirm that, and it is also necessary to find ways how to keep surveillance over the borders. One measure perhaps could be deploying intelligence resources, both human end and technical end. Human end, I don't know whether it will be available, because similar tribes live on both sides of the borders. The Kukis are kins of chins, and no information human would perhaps come out from them. So one will have to rely more on technical int in order to establish this information. As I had earlier also said in one of your programs, the strife has been going on for way too long. We should have acted much earlier. We, instead of taking action against the people creating trouble within the state, we are trying to divert attention to the borders. My submission is, and my view is, that problem is more internal. We should focus on internal issues rather than trying to say that trouble is being created from outside. 4,000 weapons or 6,000 weapons, the figures are different, but then these weapons are there in the society, and these are, having been with police, having been with IRBs, these are fairly advanced weapons. So one cannot say that there are no advanced weapons in the society. There's a lot of explosive which has been looted. There's a lot of ammunition which has been looted, which is being used by the trouble creators. So security forces must get a free hand to carry out search and seizures without apprehension of being their action being stopped. And that is only way in which, if the society is made free of weapons, then that is the only way to bring people to the table in order to resolve the problem.
Okay.
So
Now,
that is my view.
Okay. Now, let me go back to Kuldeep Singh. He also said anti-drone measures have been implemented in the state and forces have recovered 28 kilos, 28 kilo ID.
Approximately 468 bunkers have been destroyed till date since the start of the problem. And we are also going for anti-drone measures. Army and Assam Rifle have put in large number of anti-drone systems. Number I am not mentioning for the sake of security. CRPF has also put in some anti-drone systems. Anti-drone systems are anti-drone guns, then anti-drone detective, apprehension and spoofing system it is called. Sometimes it is a huge system in which if you make it on, then even airport or any air bound vehicle has to be informed and intimated, so that operation of aircraft and operation of helicopter or any quadcopter is not hampered. So those systems are big in nature. Those are for detection as well as for interception. But the anti-drone guns are slightly less cumbersome. They are mobile also. When some drones are visible at certain areas, then those guns can be aimed at that like normal guns. And then if you press the trigger, then a kind of a cone gets created where it jams the frequency on which the drone is operating. So by this, approximately 15 to 17 drones have already been jammed, and one was spoofed also, but it couldn't be recovered because it dropped in the hills and very thick area. Now beyond that, during the checking, the 7 IEDs weighing 28 kgs have also been recovered. And these kind of systems on which we are relying, we are also identifying the vulnerable areas. Vulnerable areas, you understand, areas of government which are of importance, like the airport, like the bottling plants, like all other systems where essential items are maintained for the running of the city. So those areas are also being totally identified, and there also people are being briefed about it, because generally the forces are briefed around arms, ammunition, militants and firing, etc. The rocket kind of a thing or the drone kind of a thing was only for surveillance purposes, not for the purpose of being seen it as a weapon. So now it is being seen as a weapon also, and wherever it is needed, we are also trying to put whatever the anti-drone rules are there. Though 144 earlier, now it is 163, is done by district magistrates that nobody can operate drones without the permission of the authority. But it is very difficult to implement it because nobody applies for it. And drone of a certain smaller nature are not into that the permission taking system, because those drones may be used for marriage purposes, for organizing different kind of the cultivation activities. So those drones are not covered under that. So we have kept that also into mind, and we are forming an SOP so that whenever a force is using a drone anti-drone system, then at that particular point of time, everybody should know that this system is being used. Then if any force has to fly drone or any licensed drone is to operate, they must know that this kind of anti-drone system is available, or anti-drone system or drone system is functioning, so that there is a smooth operation or there is a smooth action taken for anti-drone system to operate.
He also addressed the issue of sophisticated weapons in the state and said many of the recovered weapons are advanced and that they weren't looted from the state armories.
That total number of weapons which had been looted were more than 6,000. Now the weapon recovered are 2,681. Out of 2,681, only approximately 1,200 weapon are looted weapon. Listen carefully. Yes. Then 1,400 weapon are not looted weapon.
So from where do those weapons come?
That's what we should ask the society. We should ask.
Why?
Listen. We should ask the society. I can't answer alone. We all have to answer this. From where these came, the 1,400 weapons, and out of 1,400, 800 are sophisticated. Only 600 are single barrel, double barrel, and country made. So we should all have to ask ourselves where from these came.
Continue asking without any answer.
I don't have answer. I also don't have answer.
Okay. So he's saying he doesn't have answer where these weapons have come from, and he also mentioned that one Myanmar intruder was arrested by Assam Rifles on September 9th.
One Myanmarese intruder was apprehended by troops of Assam Rifle from the jungles of Kachibung village, Chandel district on September 9, 2024. AR troops apprehended. His name is Tamenglong Kap, alias Kakap, 20 years, son of Gampo of Kolang, Khampat, Myanmar. While he was roaming in the jungles of Kachibung, which is 3 kilometers inside the territory of India without any document, he was subsequently handed over to the police station concerned of Chandel district. FIR has been registered as intruder under Foreigners Act. This is the official version which we have got till now. All other things, whatever you are saying, KNB or other militant, we have also got this kind of input, but we are verifying, and as and when we get fixed details on that, those sections will be added against him, and then he will be forwarded to court under those sections.
Okay, now let me go across to Mr. Mishra. Sir, there are two things he said. Foreign national has been caught. He confirmed it, but he said that there are weapons which are sophisticated and not looted from the armories. Are they being brought back from a different theatre? Are these weapons being made? What does it tell us?
Karthikeya, I can well tell you these 800 weapons which Mr. Kuldiep he narrated. Definitely these advanced automatic weapons which are not available in Manipur or Manipur police or in their court, they were definitely brought from outside of Manipur, particularly from Myanmar. And that is what I was telling you, that how weapons are penetrating. As one of our speaker was telling, the border is really not guarded. But the statement which has now come, Amit Shahji, that we have done 30 kilometers of border fencing in last 100 days. The speed is, of course, very nice. And of course, that will be going on, because the main problem The root cause of the problem is border fencing if it is not there. That is one part of it. But one more thing, the weapons have come already, because this 800 weapons shows, this advanced weapon shows that they have come from outside to Manipur. It is not only 800, there will be more than 5,000 weapons which have come, this type of weapons, including rockets and drones which have come from Myanmar. So I just told you what happened, at Nambil in Tamenglong, where 45 UNF militants, they surrendered on Friday because they had a fight with PDM. They had to come back and they surrendered with their weapons. So these are all automatic weapons. So this is very dangerous phenomenon. Whether it may be with Mighty Group, or it is with Kukichin Group, or it is Kuki or KNA, that's a different matter altogether. You see these three KYKLO group militants, they were captured also. The pistol which was recovered from him, it was not also Indian pistol. Then you see the person, the Kamjong, that Myanmar person who was apprehended, his main aim was to see the route from Chandil through the jungle to Churachandpur to hand over weapons coming from Myanmar. So where he was going, to which group he was supposed to hand over the weapons, what he was supposed to recce, should also be interrogated. Of course, police will be doing their best, and they will be. It is not necessary that they should bring out everything like what Mr. Kuldiep Singh has brought out about this 900 persons entering. And this is a state of affairs. I can well tell you, Manipur border, of course, it needs about just now 10 battalions. If we really want to block it just now, you need about 10 battalions, maybe of Assam Rifles, maybe of any border guarding forces or paramilitary forces. Though this fencing is continuing, we have already made not 10 kilometers, 30 kilometers we have already made. This is what has been confirmed by Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Govt of India. So we can well do it within another 1 year, all the fencing can be done. But before that, if this 900 militants will be coming, this type of intelligence we have, not only this particular time in 30 groups, they will be coming in 30 each. They will be coming later on also, because the border is not guarded properly in the BOP level, in the BOP concept, border outpost concept. We have to think about it. And of course, Kuldeep Singh ji has already stated that they have already started counter-insurgency operations, not only to catch the weapons, but also to see the explosives and all those pipes and all those who are required to make RCL. And thus see this 28.5 kgs of IEDs, improvised explosive devices, which were seized from Kamjong and Itham. And again, 20th July, I can tell you, we go back to 20th July, we had about, again, eight IEDs of about 30 kgs. They were recovered. Of course, they were all, recovered with sniffer dogs, and they were also, army engineers, they diffused it and they blasted it also. But these are very dangerous phenomenon. These 8 IDs or 7 IDs, total 15 IDs, could have taken the lives of about 500 to 600 men Manipuris if it could have been planted at bus stand and railway station and the markets and all. This is a very, very bad phenomenon, and this improvised explosive devices, of course, all these militants, they are experts in making improvised explosive devices, and the switches. They may be having pressure switch, they may be having remote control switch. Okay. Different type of switches are available.
Point taken, Mr. Mishra.
But they are really, I'm telling you, very dangerous phenomenon. Okay. If this type of improvised explosive devices are coming to Manipur, they can be planted anywhere, I'm telling you. They can be planted in front of a Raj Bhavan, in front of
Let me go across to Mr. Vora. Mr. Vora, I've got 2 questions for you. One, does fencing on a border or a state like Manipur works? I'm sure fencing in LOC remains a challenge. Bangladesh fencing is a challenge. And my second question is, does the quantity of IED which is being recovered say something?
Before I answer your questions, Karthikeya, a few points which were raised by the security advisor, I want to briefly comment on those. Okay. Of course, number one, he's a very fine officer, a dear friend. He's doing his best in a very, very difficult situation. But today's press conference, maybe it is at the behest of somebody. I think this gives the impression that the police and the security forces are being overwhelmed now. Now, the points I wanted to make was, one is about bunkers. He said 468 bunkers have been destroyed. Very good achievement. But why were they allowed to come in the first place? Those who did not detect it, take action or stop it, action should be taken against those people. And who knows, they are still continuing to be made. It's a human activity. Bunkers are not made by any technology. They are visible. So I think that's a very, very important point that I wanted to make. Secondly, drones. Why can't the police also use it for attacking those guys? I'm sure they would be using it, but I'm just saying this was another point which could have been mentioned. And about weapons, to say from where have these weapons come, I can't comment on it. Well, he can't comment on it, then who else will comment? He is the privy to the entire information. So surely these are by the drug lords being obtained from the open market from outside, unless China, Pakistan, Bangladesh are supplying it. And there is a very big possibility of these people doing it, because all of them have been wanting to have a pie in the northeast. When Pakistan was being made, they wanted Assam to be part of East Pakistan because they said that it's a natural extension for East Pakistan. And the Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of the nation of Bangladesh, I think had also said that at that moment. Who doesn't want a pie? China wants it. Arunachal, you take it. Myanmar, everybody has been wanting to. Now, coming to your question of fencing and IEDs, I thought that was the second question. Fencing. Very good speed, well done, but it has been on the anvil, for how many years? 20 years. Now action is being taken. Hopefully it will be done. It will take a year, but a year is too long a time. So I think meanwhile, whatever can be done, it's a very long border. My friend said, the army friend Sanjay Kulkarni said about 1640 kilometers, if I'm not wrong. It's a very, very long border. I have served in those areas, I know it. See, you can sneak it from any area, absolutely. So things are going to worsen. Same with the IEDs, things are going to worsen. I'll go back to what I said initially, the full might of the Indian state in all respects. Every expert of every kind must be pressed into service and with president rule on it so that there's no interference. And there should be no other consideration except to countering these people, bringing peace between the warring two communities. This must be the twin objective, and I stick to it again, Karthikeyan. Thank you.
Mr. Vora, what do you think has been the problem in handling the Manipur crisis from last 1 year? I really have to ask this question to you. Is it the joint? Is it the jointness? What is it? I'm throwing this question to you.
I think the due attention, the required attention, the right attention, the honest attention has not been paid. I hope this answers your question.
Is it jointness of operation?
Sorry?
Is it the lack of jointness of operation, sir?
The lack of unified command.
Oh, the unified command is there. But the funny thing is now that the unified command here, the chief minister is not in charge of the unified command. It's a very, very rare thing. And the chief minister of Manipur wrote a letter to the governor of Manipur that unified command should be handed over back to the chief minister. We don't have president's rule there, and yet the unified command is not with the CM. I have served with the army, with the unified commands in Jammu Kashmir. I have served in Punjab. I have served in Northeast, Manipur, Tripura, God knows what all places. So I think this is the situation. I don't know who's making it, who's taking policy decisions of what kind. To be honest, as I said, Manipur is far off from the mainland, far off from Delhi. I think it's not being taken on priority. I use so many words about it. I think it's not being paid proper due honest, fast, sufficient attention.
Would you describe Manipur as an ethnic conflict, result of, or is it as a fallout of the drug economy of Northeast? What's the core issue? You know, Chief Minister says it's the drugs.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Okay. Core issue, I said in the beginning itself, it's basically the drug lords. It was basically the increase of poppy cultivation in Churachandpur area by the Myanmaris, the Chins who came over, who were kith and kin of these cookies, because there was pressure on the Myanmar side. So see, there's a lot of poppy cultivation there, and Manipur has not been the root of the Golden Triangle today. It has been there for decades and decades. I was first posted there in 1980. It was there then also. So it's one of the places where everything comes from that side. So since poppy cultivation reduced in Myanmar, they came over here. Locals joined hand. It meant more money. These were represented by Meiteis and others. But these people have a lot of money. You know the money that they have, their budget. Somebody, I read somewhere, I think, 60,000 crores. They are able to spend on this, whereas the Manipur's government's budget itself is about 35,000 crores or something. I may be wrong on figures. Please forgive me for that. So they drug lords want to see that everything is in their control, and whatever is required to be done for that, and they would be aided by our hostile nations, by our enemies. I think we are allowing the situation to become worse. What is, look at it when it started, Karthikeyan, in May last year and today. My God. And if you don't control it for another year, you can only imagine. And what is civil war? There's no civil war, that kind of a thing. It is basically controlling the people from coming from outside. It's war now between the forces and these guys.
Okay. Okay.
So I think this, I'm sorry, I'm using very strong and harsh words, but I have a lot of respect for the institutions. But I think that as I feel very anguished, honestly, as a citizen and as a police officer and a person who has served there, honestly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kulkarni, is it really possible to create a sort of a dragnet net, a combing operation in context of retrieval of these sophisticated weapons? Can that be done simultaneously, hill and the valley areas?
Just to what Mr. Vora has said, you know, this you're talking about Unified Command. Initially, the Unified Command in 1997 was under the Chief Secretary. And thereafter, in 2004, it went under the Chief Minister. And again in 2000, now, a little after what happened on the 3rd of May, the Unified Command came under the advisor to the advisor of the central government, that is Mr. Kuldiep Singh. However, in that, the para 5 clearly stated that should the Chief Minister at any point of time want the meeting of the Unified Command, he chairs it. Otherwise, Mr. Kuldeep is the advisor of the central government, placed over there advising the government of Manipur. So who is the Unified Command? It's Mr. Kuldeep Singh, the advisor to the government of Manipur. That's very clear. Of course, the para 5 gives them little leverage to the Chief Minister, because since 2004, the Unified Command has been under the Chief Minister, so probably he's been wanting it, but otherwise it is very clear. As regards the drugs is concerned, 18,000 acres of land had been cleared by the government of the drugs in entire hills, Churachandpur enclosure. So obviously they lost a lot of this poppy, which was known. There is nothing of Manipur that is not known. Nothing. As regards the combing operations are concerned, everything is possible. But what it is, who is talking to the cookies and who is talking to the Meiteis? Everyone being talking, well, I'm talking to the cookie, I'm also talking to the Meitei, but I'm not talking and getting them together to talk to each other until and unless they sit on one table with somebody who have their trust and faith, and sitting both of them on the same side of the table and discussing and asking them what is the problem. The question is now the bunkers being destroyed. Now, if the buffers have been created and each of these buffers have been protected, obviously they've gone on a rampage constructing bunkers, constructing, all communication trenches to each other, getting all the finest of weapons, even from the Brotherhood Alliance, which comes from China and gives it to them, and all the kind of thing. The borders are absolutely open. They can go as much as they could go. So all these kind of things that are happening, it's time. I think the ethnic clashes acceptable. Yes, the Cookies and the Metis don't see eye to eye. Perfectly fine. They don't see eye to eye, but they were seeing eye to eye earlier. The drug culture benefited all of them, including the Metis, including the Cookies, including the Nagas. All of them were, making hay while the sun shines. All of that has been done away with, or is being done away with. Obviously, there are some kind of this thing. So there are multiple factors that have led to this situation today. But why did we allow it? Now, if you create buffer zones, in each of these buffer zones, and again, Cookies not trusting somebody of a center of the force level over there, the Metis not trusting somebody at the force level, is that acceptable? Not acceptable at all. They are all government forces which have to be used. Who else will come and do what is happening in Manipur? If not the Manipur police, if not the Assam Rifles, if not the BSF, if not the CRPF, who else will do it? These are the people who are supposed to be doing it, and they will do it, and they must be given power. They cannot construct bunkers. They cannot construct communication trenches. There cannot be buffers between the two communities. Obviously, if you have lived in buffer zones for the last 1 year, it's not now, it's over 17 months. They've lived in bunkers in this kind of situation and separated totally. Obviously, they will demand now that we live for 17, we can live as long as we wish to. Nothing doing. It's part, it's one. No question of in a buffer zone. There is no question. You have to be there, and each one of them have to be taken off their weapons. No, how can anybody, you can see for yourself, you have been putting on pictures, you are one of those who have been associated in giving complete media coverage of all of what is happening over there. How can you have people moving around with weapons, automatic weapons, all kinds of weapons? You've shown those wheeled mortars, you have been firing them to the other side. Drones, what is all this going on? Is that the way we do it? I think it's enough. It's enough. And now the red line is drawn. Either if the two communities don't want to come on the table, we catch both the communities by the necks and tell them, look, this is our state, this is your state, and all of us have to live here. There is no question of separations into any zones or anything. This is what it is. Let me see how many can do it, or how many want to come against the state. Not a possibility, just not a possibility. It's enough is enough. That's the way we work at. Not allowing somebody to think, okay, please come. There's no asking and requesting. The time of requesting and expecting is all gone. I'm sure the advisor has come on the same kind of a press conference sometime a few days, even after May 9th or something like that. He's done. At that time, what was the thing? That all of it is under control and we'll get it under control. What then under control is 17 months, nothing under control. So time is now enough is enough. And we have to tell the Metis, we have to tell the Cookie, come on, sit on one table. There is no question. I'm not going to talk to the Cookie alone. I'm not going to talk to the Metis. All of you sit down together, because until and unless there is trust, there's a trust deficit. Nothing else. Just
fair enough.
Trust deficit.
Very powerfully put.
Yeah,
fair enough. Mr. Sood? Mr. Sood?
Yes.
Your opinion on it. When he says that sophisticated weapons unaccounted for, there's a fence that is being built, the bunkers are being destroyed, anti-drone measures have been taken. What is the big picture you have drawn from the press conference, sir?
You see, insofar as sophisticated weapons are concerned, there has never been a dearth of sophisticated weapons in the Manipur, in Manipur state. Way back in 2000, when I was commanding my unit at Churachandpur, I had in an encounter recovered sophisticated weapons. I had in a search recovered lot of weapons and explosives, for which my unit also got gallantry awards and all that. That besides, so there has never been a dearth of sophisticated weapons in the with the public at large, with so many of the insurgent groups operating all over. UNLF, KYKL, Cookie, MP, and so on and so forth. Everyone has got lots of weapons. And so the maths that was being given by Mr. Kuldeep, those unaccounted weapons recovered could have come at any point of time in the past. I'm not saying that they may not be coming now, but they have already existed in the Manipur society. Now, regarding the bunkers, it's an extremely sad reflection on the state government, on the central government, on the police, that the local, both Metis and Cookies, have to deploy their own village defense forces own security organization to defend themselves. They have no trust left in the institutions of the government. So how can that be possible? And as General Kulkarni was saying, unless you bring both of them to talk to each other with a third party intervention, nothing is going to happen. What you talk to them, what you talk to the other group gets distorted in the communication process. They must sit down and talk to each other through a third party intervention. And I very strongly feel that in the present context, the Nagas are the best placed to mediate between the two ethnic communities, because they have so far been keeping a neutral stance. And also the Gaon Budas, the village sarpanches in those areas carry a lot of respect, and their intervention can be sought at individual levels to sort of satisfy the people of their villages to give up arms and come to the discussion table. So that is what I think should happen. From the very beginning, the entire policy regarding controlling Manipur has been a totally muddled one. You have appointed an advisor who doesn't know, who doesn't have any information, any knowledge of Manipur state. You have appointed a DG, bringing him from Tripura, who doesn't have any knowledge of Tripura state. So if the heads of those institutions do not have any knowledge, practical knowledge of operating in those areas, how will they command these forces? So I think that is important. And unified command, even though the Chief Minister has asked for him to be made head of the unified command, but sir, in my view, he is the least qualified to head at this unified command, because he is widely perceived to be favoring one particular community. The answer is that impose president rule, or at least in the least impose Armed Forces Special Power Act in the 19 police stations of the valley, which are Meitei dominated. Most of the looted weapons, as per my apprehension, are with Meitei groups. Impose AFSPA in those areas and give free hand to the security forces to carry out search and seizure operations.
Very well put, sir.
The Minister has said that it is not insurgency, it is a racial. He said racial, but probably he meant ethnic strife. It is not insurgency. It is the conflict between two ethnic races, and it must be dealt with in this manner. The time is still not gone. We must act proactively.
I think that's very well put. Time is still not gone. There has to be an act. I think all our top security experts said something drastically needs to be done. A very quick comment from you before I play out another bite of Kuldeep Singh. Security, yes, but what about the political activity? Political dialogue.
Well, forget political dialogue. Karthikeya, I have said this so many times here that, that the kind of effort which has been put by the security forces on ground is not inspiring confidence at all. The kind of recoveries which are being made are where it should put. And the recoveries which are being, paraded as achievement are in fact a glaring failure on the way the security forces are functioning. I think a lot more needs to be done before you can come to a situation solving the problem.
So Brijesh has a point. Brijesh says a lot more needs to be done. And let me play out the bite of Kuldeep Singh, the advisor to the government. And I thank all my guests for such riveting conversation on this. Let me play out the bite.
I think in Kuki area, the Honorable Home Minister had held a press conference where he said that approximately 30 kilometers of fencing is almost complete, and further it is going on. More than that, the other areas also, wherever fencing is still lacking in northern areas, those are also being included. So there is no loss of priority in those areas where fencing was being done. That area is being covered as it was being done. The further areas are being also taken into consideration so that whole fencing is completed without loss of time.
Hey, careful, huh? My daddy got it from abroad. Disaster! How will you pay for the loss now?
In stock market, you should take risk as per your capacity and knowledge. Trade in options very carefully.
Wow, Dikra! Absolutely perfect. Take risk with full understanding.
सोच कर, समझ कर, invest कर.